So hi everyone, this is the first video in a series of videos on YII2 framework. I'm actually learning how to code in YII2 right now. I've been a developer for quite long, and I had earlier started learning the YII 1.1 framework, and for some reason had to stop it midway. So I have now picked up again from YII2 framework, and I'm trying to make some of these. I'm trying to make a video or videos rather on some of the problems that I'm facing and how I'm fixing them. So this could be a reference for me in the future, as well as it could be useful for someone else who's trying to learn YII2 framework. All right. So we the first problem that I had. After installing, I mean, and of course there's a lot to be done before you even start coding in YII framework and in YII2. And I hope I'm gonna make some videos about those in the near future. But for today, let's start with how we should go about implementing the a user login enabled a database enabled user login, right? So here's the code that I'm using, but let me just show you first how it's happening, and or let me just give you a quick demo of it. So I'll go HTTP localhost and web my application. That's my application, and it's already, if you can see, it's already logged in, but it's already logged out from the previous user, and here I'm logging in using my username colgit underscore 2001, and my password goes in here and login, voila, right? I'm logged in as logcolgit. Now how all this happens in the background, that's something that's really interesting, and although it's been described in a lot of different blogs, I think you really have to pay a little bit of attention as to how this is happening. And there's a few steps that need to be followed and need to be done correctly. So the first and foremost would be to create a database table, right? And the table that we are creating here, right? So the table that you need to create, I've already shown you. This is the table, and the SQL for this you can obtain from this blog. Say YII2 database login, and you can actually go and security authentication you to login from database framework forum. So code epicenter, so this is the website code epicenter, and this guy's given, I mean, this thing really worked right out of the box for me, but I can just explain a little bit more on this. So you need to create a database table, and the table can be you can actually create the table that has these different columns. So what you need to do is create a primary key, that's ID, first underscore name, last underscore name, phone number, username, email, password, auth key, password, reset token, uh, user image, and user level, right? So it's a very simple database, and if you see, except for this one, which is the primary key, rest all are varchar. Rest all of them are varchar, and the last one is an enum, right? So not very important, the last column, as with in relation to what we are trying to do right now. And you can just create these columns and make the table really quick. And then let's go to the actual code. So once you're there and you've created the database table, what you got to do is you have to go to your GUI, and this is the URL for GUI, right? It's localhost because it's on my local site. Basic is the name of the application, web is the folder where all the files are in, and index.php are GUI. That's where I'm going to create a model. Now you go and create a model for this. So what you need to do is you need to give the table name, you need to give the model class name, which can be, the table name is user, the model class name can be user. I know that some people have mentioned that it you know it, it that it's preferable to use some other name, but I used the same name and I did not have any issues logging in. So you can pretty much do the same, or you could change the name. It's totally up to you, and the rest of it all remains basically same. And when you click on, once you fill up all these, you will get you'll get a generate code button. You'll get a generate code button, and if there's already a class called user, which should be there already in your default application that came with YII2, the default app that you create using scaffolding. um, so you could just click on a checkbox and override that and generate. It's very easy, and that's going to override the user model. So now let's quickly go over to the models and user.php. So this, if at all, this file would have been overwritten, and this is the new file that is created using YII, right? But not all of this has been created. For example, these methods are not part of what YII creates for you, and that's where this block comes in. And all you need to do is just copy and paste this entire, I mean, I'll keep the source code separately for you to have a look, but you can just copy and paste these 5 methods, and in this file which I have done over here, right? And these are you'll need to go into a little bit of depth. I'm not getting into the depth over here, but these are really simple methods. Once you copy paste them, they should work. You just need to make sure that your username column in the table is username, email is email, password is password, and that should be it for now. It should work right out of the box. And for as far as this one is concerned, yes, if you had, since we are not changing the name of the user, of the user class, we don't need to do anything over here in the config.php. And if there's something else written over here, but that's something that you can ignore for now. And that's it. It's so easy. And just make sure that you don't have any you're not getting any syntactical errors, and then just save it, and you're ready to go. And when you and add a few usernames here in your database, if you could just add a few usernames in your table, like I have done here. So like I've added 2 users over here, and then you just use the exact same username and password, and you should be able to go through. So let me just show you once. If I use a wrong use if I use this is a wrong password, and it shows incorrect username or password, right? So that's how it works. So, and if I use the correct username, it will let me in. If I use the correct username, I gotta type in the correct password, and I'm in, right? It shows log out call Jitendra 2001. So this is how we have implemented. It's really easy to do, and there is at this stage there is not much needed. It's not that you don't need a lot of understanding, but you got to understand one thing, which I think I missed telling you, and that is this model class, you need to implement identity interface, which is found in the YII web. That's when you will be able to make use you will I mean, if this class represents a user in the YII ecosystem, then it needs to implement this interface. All right, so you need to add this, and you need to add this implements phrase, and that's about it. That's all there is to um, making use of